welcome to Lauren Reed Color. In today's Saturday Snippets video, we're going to be continuing to work in Small Victories by Johanna Basford. This is now our project book, and last time we began this page, which I'm calling The Garden Friends, and we created this brick background using a stencil and this honeycomb background using a different stencil. We also began coloring the blue flowers on the snail, and I just want to show you the inspiration image. One moment. So this is the inspiration image that I found on Pinterest, and we are going to be doing these poppy red flowers, these golden yellow flowers, and trying to get our snail to look as close to this as possible. Again, it's not going to be exactly the same because it's a different image. Of course, we are using Prismacolor pencils. Just one moment, let me put this aside. So the pencils we're using, as I said, are Prismacolor, and I have my swatch. Okay, so these are the colors that we are using for the blue flowers. The marigold is for the center of the blossoms, and perhaps some basing for the golden flowers, which we will perhaps add more of these other colors as well. So yes, you can take a screenshot and keep this for future reference. Okay, so let's get going. Right, so we are zoomed in and we are continuing with the petals that are on the outside of the flower that we colored last time, and we are beginning with a sky blue light. Okay, so just a light layer of this on all of the petals. Okay. Right, so if you're new to these Saturday Snippets videos, then you'll know that in addition to coloring, I do some chatting about what's going on in my life and any interesting tidbits that I encounter during the week on YouTube or Threads or Instagram or anywhere else. And in my neighborhood, I live in a busy neighborhood. Okay, we're moving on to our next color, which is, true blue. Okay, yeah, so this week was pretty quiet. I went to the ophthalmologist. I was having some dizziness problems a little while ago, and my doctor sent me for all sorts of tests. So the ear, nose, and throat specialist, a cardiac specialist. I did all sorts of cardiac tests and whatnot. Anyway, this was the last one, the ophthalmologist, for which I'm very grateful. And the issue is that the dizziness has gone away, thankfully. I think it might just have been a side effect of a tummy bug that I had. Anyway, but anyway, my eyes are fine. He was so cute, the doctor. He was telling me, your eyes are fine, and I have advice for you. Of course, he's a doctor, he has advice. He says I must check my vitamin D. Anyway, my family doctor already did that, and I take supplements. So it could be that that's what caused it. Anyway, what else happened? Yeah, Toby also went to the doctor yesterday. Today's Saturday. He needed his annual shots. Okay, so we're moving on to our indigo blue, which is 901, and this only goes in the deepest shadow areas. Yeah, so he needed his annual shots. He likes our vet. The vet clinic that we go to has two vets. We have the vet that Toby has gone to his whole life, but he's reaching retirement age, so he's taken on a partner. And she's fabulous. We love her. I mean, we love the other vet too, but we really like his new partner. But she wasn't there, so it was Toby's dare I say, original vet. Yeah, he gave Toby his shots, but Toby also had some sort of, I don't know, ugly wart on his back that didn't look so good to me. So I showed it to the vet, and the vet said, let's take it off. And Toby's 17, so he cannot have any kind of surgery that involves general anesthetic. He's too old. But the vet said this could be done with a local anesthetic. I don't know who was more traumatized, me or Toby. The vet was very gentle, but it did hurt to have the needle for the anesthetic go in. And he was not a happy camper after having shots and surgery. And anyway, the vet took it off. And now he's being spoiled even more than usual because I feel guilty. Okay, I just need to get the Prismacolor white to do some blending. Hold on one second. Okay, so this is my teensy weensy Prismacolor white. It's clean, and I'm just going to blend just the highlight area. Okay. I see I need to do this overlapping petal, so I'm just taking the True Blue. Okay, so that was Toby's Traumatic Friday. And I was going to go to the pool, but I didn't want to leave him after his surgery, even though he was fine. So I didn't go to the pool. Okay, so what we're going to do is deepen up these shadows using a technique that I showed you last time, which is taking a water brush, either with or a fine liner. This pen that I have has both a fine liner nib and a water brush nib, and I just take this with a Q-tip. Okay, and you just put this very lightly in the deepest shadows and then blend it out with the Q-tip. You get a nice effect. First of all, it deepens up the shadows, but you also get the sort of like effect, the smudge effect, which is also nice. We've done that. One, just really lightly, only in the shadow areas. Okay, be careful by this petal because you don't want to get this color into that petal, as that's going to be a different color. Okay, now we're going to do the center of this flower. So for that we need Deco Yellow. Okay, so it's 1011. Okay, and we're ignoring all of the things that Johanna has done with this the center. We just go over everything with the Deco Yellow. Okay, then some Sienna Brown, 945. Okay. Anyway, so that was yesterday. And I was also doing some more marking of student papers. Again, if you're new, I'm a college lecturer and I teach a seminar in children's literature. And my students submitted their papers. And yeah, I'm approaching the end. I'm so proud of myself. I've marked about 24 papers. I have 3 left. Okay, back with the Deco Yellow, just to blend this out. Okay, and I think also back in with the sienna brown, just to, and then the dark umber. This is dark umber, 947. Yeah, so I was marking student papers. Okay, now we're going to just take a gel pen. I'm using the Langwell P600B in white. I have a whole set of these that I still need to swatch. Okay, we're gonna even just make sure it works. Here we can use these dots that Johanna gave us a little bit, maybe. Okay, right, so there is that other blue flower, and now we're going to move on to the golden flowers. So I'm just gonna take a look at our reference picture and we're gonna decide which ones we're going to make gold. I'm actually thinking this one and perhaps that one. Let me look at the reference picture. Hold on one second. Okay, so here's our reference picture and our picture. And so this blue could be that or that. So this one is going to be like the golden orange that we see there. And then this one will be red. So I'm thinking of making this one also golden orange, and this one will also be the poppy reddish color. And then we've got one more that we'll decide later, maybe also yellow. Okay. Okay, so we're moving on to this flower, and as I said, we're going to make it a golden yellow sort of color. And so again, we're going to start with our Deco Yellow 1011 and just put a light layer on these petals. Okay, anyway, so where was I? Yeah, I was talking about my students' papers. So I marked 3 papers this week. One student did his paper on The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. That is such a lovely book. It's a picture, for those, if no one's ever read it, it's a picture book about a tree and a boy and their relationship. Such a lovely book. Anyway, so the student, moving on to Goldenrod 1034. The student wrote about eco-criticism, about how the boy takes from the tree and doesn't give anything back, and overconsumption and materialism. It was very interesting. He also analyzed the story from a feminist perspective. And yeah, it was really an interesting paper. He did a fabulous job. I was very proud of him. This student who wrote this paper, he's an exchange student from South Korea. And he's a lovely person. Really lovely. There's a group of them. There's a group of 5 exchange students in our program from South Korea. And but he's the only one of the 5 who did this course. The other 3, they're 3rd-year students. So he got permission, because his grades are so good, to do this course and end his studies a bit earlier. The other 4 students are now going into their 4th year, so they'll be doing this course. I'm just, turning the flower around so that I can flick upwards. I like to flick upwards. One second, I don't want to smudge anything with my hand. Yeah, so he'll finish before the others. And he's decided, he sent me an email. He's decided that he wants to stay here and go to the university and do an MA degree. So he's very excited about that. And so that's what he'll be doing. The other four students will be doing this course, as I said, in the coming academic semester. Okay, I'm just turning that around again. All right, now we're going to go in, I think, with the terracotta. Okay, so 944. Only in the shadow areas. So around here. One second, I'm just concentrating around this petal. Okay, so anyway, that was his paper. Another student did her paper on The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Graham. And she wrote about the religious allegory, sin and redemption, which I thought was really original. She talked about how each of the animals, it's for those who are not familiar with the story, it's an anthropomorphized story about all the characters are animals. So you have Mr. Toad, and you have Mr. Rat, and you have, I think there's Mr. Badger. And yeah, so each one of these characters is a symbol of sin and redemption in some way. So that's what she wrote about, and she talked about their homes. Each one has a different home, and how their homes relate to their characterization. So for example, Mr. Mole. Yes, there's Mr. Mole. Mr. Mole, I suppose Mr. Mole might be the primary protagonist in that story. He emerges from his burrow or hole. Do moles live in burrows or holes? Anyway, they live underground, and they're blind. And so she talked about how that's symbolic of birth and rebirth. Okay, now we're going to go in with the dark umber, 947. Only in the deepest shadows, right next to the center of this flower. Yeah, and she talked about, I think it's Mr. Toad who is obsessed with motor cars. So he's a symbol of greed, which I thought was shame. Poor Mr. Toad. He's so cute. Anyway, goldenrod, just for a little bit of blending. Okay, just blending out the dark umber there. Okay, and now we're going to go back in with our deco yellow, 1011. Just a little bit into the highlight area. Yeah, so poor Mr. Toad. I see that I want to darken up, give it a bit more reddish tint. So back to terracotta, 944. Just give it some flicks. Okay. Enough. And we're going to be doing the same trick with the watercolor brush, only this time I have like a deep burgundy color. So let me just show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's like, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. but it's like a really deep purple. Okay, and this is going to make the yellow and the orange pop. Purple and orange or yellow are complementary colors, and so if you put in a little bit of purple, it will make the yellow pop. Okay, so but really a tiny, tiny, tiny amount, and only in the shadow areas. So there. Okay, and now we're going to blend it out. See, and what it does is it makes the oranges and the yellows pop. We're going to go in again with the yellows just to blend that out a little bit more. Okay, right, and now let's go back in with our goldenrod. Oops. My book is moving a little bit. If you don't like the way that looks, you can skip that step. Okay. Pumpkin orange. Do I want to put some pumpkin orange? Or the terracotta? Let's do the terracotta. Okay, and the deco yellow. Okay. For the center of this flower, let me just take a look at the reference photo, 1 second. Right, so if we look at the center of this flower, we can see that it's actually purple, orange, and yellow. So I've gotten another pencil, which is Black Grape 996, and we're going to try and replicate that. Right, so we're going to go in with the deco yellow in the center. Okay, then we're going to put the purple grape. Okay, and blend it out a little bit with the goldenrod. Oh yes, perfect. And we're going to use a yellow acrylic marker to make the dots. Okay, so I use the Artristro brand. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a shake. I just realized that I was off camera for a few minutes, and I apologize for that. Basically, let me just show you what we did. We finished coloring these petals, okay? So we used a base of deco yellow, then we used terracotta, then I went around the edge with dark umber, and then I blended with the deco yellow again. And now I also noticed that I forgot to do these petals, so I've gone put down a light layer of deco yellow, and now I'm using the terracotta in the shadow areas. Okay, these petals are really tiny, so we don't have to do much to them. Yeah, so those were the papers that I read from my students. I think I was talking about the student who did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if that was on camera or not. But she worked on the children misbehaving, and she also talked about the Oompa Loompas, the helpers in Charlie's factory, and colonialism and slavery with regard to them. And yeah, that book is not nearly as friendly as I said, not nearly as friendly as one would think. Anyway, I also read some books of my own. Okay, I'm just using the dark umber to deepen up these shadows. Oh, Toby's awake. I think he's telling me that it's breakfast time. It's early Saturday morning here, and he's been sleeping, but now he's telling me it's breakfast time. Okay, and deco yellow, just to blend this out. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, I was reading my own books. I finished reading Lost Angels by Stacy Green. I enjoyed it overall. Okay, let's just finish this flower. I think I do want to put in, yes, we're gonna have breakfast in a minute. A bit more terracotta flicks. Okay. Yes, it's breakfast time. Okay, one moment. Let me just finish. Okay, let me just go and give him breakfast and then I'll be back. Okay, so the munching in the background is Toby having his breakfast. I apologize for that, but you know, he makes sure that we give him his meals when it's time. Anyway, so we're doing the center of this flower. So deco yellow, and then the black grape. Okay, and then the goldenrod. Yeah, so I was reading that book and finished it. I liked it overall. It was a good book. So I was reading that book for a group on Goodreads. And last time we were discussing a particular character from the previous book and wondering what the author was going to do with him, because he was kind of a problematic character, and we were thinking that there would be an ongoing storyline with him. And in this book, the author disposed of him. So that was the end of that. That's one way of doing it. Dealing with a problematic character. Okay, so there we have our other golden flower. And I think that is going to be it for today's Saturday snippet. Let's zoom out and see what it looks like. All right, I like the way that is coming along. So if we're going to be continuing with our inspiration image and these lovely fall colors that we've got going. So this flower and that flower are going to be this poppy red color. And then I might do that one completely different. We will see. Yeah, so progressing nicely with our garden snail. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Saturday Snippets. I hope you enjoyed it and my chatting and rambling. And I will see you next time for another video. Take care and have a lovely weekend. Bye.